Hi, it's Steve. Today we will be canning up a bunch of butternut squash, or at least one load worth. It's that time of the year when they're starting to pass a little bit, or they're starting to show their age. So we're going to get them done before they show too much of their age. We'll get right at it. All right, so first thing first, we have to peel these guys. Um, we have to gut them, and then we have to chop them into little cubes. Then we have to blanch them, or boil them anyways, for 2 minutes once they're in those little chunks, um, and have more water boiling, or really, really hot anyways, on the ready to be able to use as our liquid conduit in the jars for the pressure canner. Um, One word of warning and caution when it comes to these things is they are super, super slippier than monkey poop once they're peeled. And they'll also, I'll show you, I'm sure, momentarily, once you get playing with them a little bit, they do and will not stain your hands, but they'll leave a nice orange color on them. Anyways, I will peel all of these guys up. I've got a small gang to do, 4 or 5 anyways, and we will take it from there at the next step. All right. Okay, so I got all these guys peeled up and gutted. The chickens are enjoying a nice little snack now. The next step is to chop them into little cubes, and that's not the hard part either. Also behind me, like I said, there are a couple of pots of water going. One is for parboiling these guys, and the other is, again, to fill as the liquid. Now, there's something to be said, I suppose, about all of the um, pressure canning. Uh, you'll always hear or see on the internet, or like on YouTube, there's a lot of people that just water bath everything, water bath it long, water bath it hard. Grandmama, she did it like this, or mon oncle Jean Pierre, or whoever. It's not good. You can do it however you want. It's just we opt to do it as safely as possible to kill any of the botulism or any other bacterias that may be anywhere in this. It's akin to, you don't have to wear your seatbelt in your car when you go out for a drive. Like, there's a good chance you will not crash or have an accident. But if it does happen, it certainly is nice to have that security belt. And it's the same thing for canning things properly. There's a good chance that, well, no, because, again, grandmama, she did it this way, or you see it, people haven't gotten sick in that case, but there are reports and there are cases of people getting horribly sick from, doing some reckless canning, or not doing it properly, or following the instructions. Again, it's just this simple little security. Chances are it will never happen, but I don't want to take that chance because, again, to see how devastating this disease, or not the disease, but if you get sick from food poisoning or botulism, it's horrible, 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 horrible. So that's why we do what we do, and I would only suggest and recommend doing it that way. You know, there's some things sometimes you can get away with because you're going to be eating it, right away, or what have you. But you can't go on the basis of, well, because it's this dense or this thick, I know that it has to be only this long. Eh, Perhaps, but like, search the university extensions, stateside. Uh, get yourself some good literature on it. The USDA books, the Bernard Ball, all of those guys. They all have fantastic information. You know, um, it's nice to keep again, that recipe book that your grandmother had, that she passed it, or she got it passed to her from her grandmother. But no, like tipping jars upside down near a breezy window, it doesn't work, or doing it by the full moon. You can do it by whatever kind of moon you want. It's not going to make a difference. But do it properly and do it safely. It's the same thing again for wearing your seatbelt in your car. It may not ever happen, you know. It's the same thing as wearing a helmet when you drive your bicycle. You may never, ever, ever crash your bicycle. But again, it's one of those things that, you're really, really, really happy to have it on and use it if something does happen. And then when you don't, well, that's the way it goes. And it's the same thing with canning. All it is just a very simple security measure. At any rate, I'm going to finish chopping this up. I'm going to dump all these cubes in our pot over there, and we'll take it from there. All right. So everybody here now is ready to come out of the pot and into the jars. I've got more jars just here behind me because I've got a whole bunch, and there's still another little load that has to go in here to get parboiled still just the same. So as well, when you play with these things enough, it, like I was saying, it kind of makes your hand colored. It looks like you have some kind of jaundice. It's not really. It does wash off with a little bit of elbow grease, The other really fun thing about the squash, is that we cure them, and they should be good cured for at least 6 months. There's always some that don't make that threshold, and it's for you to go and make your inspections of what's happening in your, we'll just say for lack of a better word, root cellar. These guys, they prefer to be held at temperatures of around 60 degrees or 10 degrees Celsius. They're all the same. You keep the stems on when you cure them, because they'll tend to rot almost right away. You let them sit out. A good curing in full sun for a couple of days, so the skin toughens up, and then you shouldn't usually have too much trouble with them. But again, there's always the exception to every rule where, you'll always have some of these guys that wind up going squishy and soft, or, if you put them in some kind of container, you'll see that they make their own soup. So I'm going to finish doing this, and we will get back when they come out of the canner. All right? Because like I said, I've got another, about half of this again. So that'll be that. Okay? All right. So as an afterthought, this is the stuff that didn't fit into the canner or jars. So this is what's going to be partially for supper this evening. All I did was I drizzled a little bit of olive oil on it, and then shook on some whatever preferred patate rissolé this is, some sort of spice mix. Stirred it all around so everything gets a nice coating. And now it's just to go into the oven. And that's that. It'll be finely roasted cubes of squash that we're going to be eating. We can put it in the oven at around 400, just until you start seeing all of the edges turning brown, or before, whenever you want. But we like it just so it's a little bit brown, and it's got more of like a caramelized kind of taste to it. Anyways, that's that. The pressure canner is nearly done. I will be bringing that in momentarily. So until then. All right, now this thing has been breathing for a moment. It's all cooled down all by itself, all naturally. I didn't play with it, take off the little jiggler, wiggler, nothing there. So it's come down all by itself. Now we're going to take the lid off and we're going to make sure to vent it away from us. And there's that blast of steam you don't want to catch in the face. All right. So far, so good. Looks everybody's happy. We'll put this over. Oh, that's music. We'll put that there. And we'll start taking, oh, more music. You hear that tuk, tuk, tuk. It just gives you shivers. So we'll take this guy out. Looking good. There. And this one too is super fantastic. Sometimes you have to make sure that you hold down if you're putting these things on these. Oh, more music. If you put these guys down on these racks like this, if they're not just balanced just so, sometimes if you put too many on one side, they'll flip over and tip over. So it's just to keep that in mind too, because that can be rather disastrous. This guy I'm not sure about. Oh no, that'll be good. All right. I made a big double decker because it all depends on what you're using these for. Sometimes you don't need a whole quart, a whole liter of squash. Sometimes just a pint will do, 500 milliliters. So we do a little bit of everything. And that way we can do what we want with it instead of being stuck with it. This should be still just a wee little bit hot. That's a little bit hot. There we are. And in here, the water looks a little mucky. So there might be a little bit of siphoning. Look at that guy. Pretty, very pretty. And this guy too, he's still bubbling and boiling in there. As usual, I put, this one here. Look at that. I'll see if I can get a little bit closer. I'll grab this so I don't drip all over the floor and get in trouble. See, this one here siphoned out. See how low the liquid is on it? Don't know why. It just happens. So anyways, we'll wind up eating this guy tonight. We'll put him over here. The thing is too with this stuff, why it's good is that you can just eat it like that with a little bit of salt and a little bit of butter if you want. And or it's cooked, like it's already cooked. So anything that you do to it, throw it in a pot of soup and it can kind of stay a little bit lumpy. But if you want to make like a creamy soup, you just pass your stick there, the blender stick, or put it in your blender. And again, it smooths out really, really, really quick and easy. And that'll be that. If you appreciated this, let me know. I thank you for your time and your patience. And until next time, all right, thank you.